With frustration over the recent firings in WWE and more, this is Wrestling Hub. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Wrestling Hub Official and follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. Touching on his start in WWE, Trick Williams told Booker T on his Hall of Fame podcast, "Growing up, I did watch wrestling. This is around your day, Book. My first favorite wrestler was Stone Cold Steve Austin. I opened a can of whoop ass at 3 years old. My mama told me hey, we gotta cut back with the wrestling a little bit. I got in trouble, you know what I mean? Then I stopped watching wrestling for a little bit and I kind of focused on football, but I knew what was going on. I knew the next generation past the Attitude Era. I watched Booker and I saw John Cena, Randy Orton, these guys. But I wasn't all the way into wrestling. I was fully involved with football after college. I had a mini camp trial with the Philadelphia Eagles and I got cut. Then from there, I didn't know what I was going to do. I was still trying to play football. I had an agent at the time. He was trying to sign me up for the XFL. The XFL was owned by Vince McMahon, so I filled out this questionnaire for the XFL, and then the next day, WWE reached out to me and said, "Hey, if you're interested, we want to bring you in for a tryout." Just like you, I never once really thought about wrestling myself. Where I'm from, I don't know any professional wrestlers. I didn't know any schools at this point in time. I didn't know how you even get into it. But I did go to the tryout and I thought, man, I think I can do this. I think I can do this. I think I'm actually made to do this right here. They didn't sign me right away, so I had to pursue it. I had made up my mind. I said, I'm not a football player anymore. I'm a wrestler. So since then, it's been history. During his interview with Sportskeeda, Drew McIntyre said this about his goals in WWE. And the world title fight, I don't want to challenge for it right away. I think I need to work through some superstars. Even though I have my name and reputation, you're only as good as you've been recently. I've been doing a lot of tag stuff recently because Riddle keeps nipping in my knees and wants to tag all the time. But I want to make sure I get on a good run and then earn the right to fight for the world title with Seth. Talk about reactions to the recent releases in WWE. Backstage correspondent Kayla Braxton wrote that some of you are sad sacks of for anyone to say that they're glad certain people are losing their jobs, or for you to tweet that you hope one of us gets it next. Hope karma hits you harder than the most devastating wrestling move ever could. That's so gross. Be better. Reacting to Jon Moxley being concussed by a pile driver from Rey Fenix on AEW Dynamite, Bloodsport owner and former UFC heavyweight champion Josh Barnett wrote on X, "I really hope Jon is okay. That is number one over anything else here. However, this ref completely blew the one job he had. Even worse is that this sort of thing from modern pro wrestling refs isn't new or that uncommon. The match is underway, the move has been hit. If the down wrestler is injured or unable to kick out for whatever reason, then you count them pinned, period, end of story. Stopping on the 3 with clearly flat shoulder can't be gimmicked or BS'd. You just messed up the whole point of these men having a match and for us to watch it. Also add in if a wrestler was injured and unable to kick out, you also just made everything doubly worse because the injury cannot be undone and that is already an issue moving forward, but now you've MF'd a clean finish. The match they spent all that time crafting and tainted every bit of rub the winner would have got, which can at least be one small benefit in a bad situation. Hell, might as well use the injury to make the move seen as even more powerful and deadly and use what cachet came from it. Nobody pays to see the referee, and unless it's a very specific circumstance, refs should not really be seen or heard other than as a part of the background like the ring itself. The more unnoticed, the better, so when a ref needs to do something, it isn't seen or picked up on, and when there is calamity in the ring, if it just come about through the act of wrestling itself, then at least take what you can from it to build whatever useful and positive you can from it, because the bad has already happened and that can be undone. Best to move forward in the cameras and take care of the rest of it in kayfabe behind the curtain. sticking with Moxley. His condition was noted in the Wrestling Observer newsletter. As with all concussions, his return is based on passing protocol tests. It could be a week and it could be much longer. He noted that because he wasn't knocked out and could still wrestle, Phoenix and Knox didn't realize he was hurt, nor did the doctor. In hindsight, because of the risk of a second concussion so shortly after the first, the best thing should have been to stop the match. But since he was working seemingly fine, nobody knew that. Actually, when Moxley realized he was messed up, he called right then for the finish. Giving a potential reason for an NXT star's release from WWE, Sean Ross Sapp said on a Fightful Select live stream, Quincy Elliott was trouble. Quincy Elliott caused all kinds of issues for the staff in WWE. It was somebody that was always going to be up next on the chopping block, no other way to put it. Quincy Elliott was gonna get cut. Recalling how LA Knight was nearly released from WWE by Vince McMahon, Mason Mansour said on Twitch that he was going to get fired. He was this close to getting let go. For whatever reason, Vince hated his Max Dupree vignettes. He wanted him to be a sniveling little scummy agent. He's a Chad. He's a jacked Chad. So that was never the right role for him. For that same live stream, Mason Mansour talked about their run as the Maximum Male Models and the role Vince McMahon played in it. As Mace noted, everything happened in the company where Vince left. Hunter took over. That was like 3 weeks after we debuted. I don't know if there has ever been worse timing. When we were approached to do Maximum Male Models, I'm not going to give the whole story, saving it for my book. It was given to us like, here is the golden goose. If you guys grab the reins on this and commit to it, you're going to be rich for a very long time, because this is Vince's baby. He has wanted to do a male model act for 8 months. He wanted this so bad. Every week we were supposed to do a new fashion show. We would go to the mall and buy the clothes. It was on us to buy the clothes. They gave us $2,000 to buy stuff. The rehearsal for the first fashion show was surreal. People were made to leave for us. For 30 minutes we rehearsed. It was Money in the Bank. They were like, get the ladders out of the way. We have to rehearse the fashion show. Vince McMahon came out and showed me how to turn and to change my white pants because he hates white pants. Mansour added that it's very rare for Vince to come out in rehearsals. He stays in his office. He came out for this. Is this our ticket to superstardom? Sadly, the week after we did the segment where we took pictures of Otis, we were supposed to do a match with the Good Brothers. It got cut and pushed back. We get pulled into a person of high ranking's office. I'm not going to say what he said. I'll save it for my book. We were essentially told we were going to have to revamp the Maximum Male model and adjust, and until then we would be off TV. We would get cut from being in the background of segments. It all came to a head when we were in the Andre Battle Royal. Producer Jason Jordan comes up with the spot where we get eliminated by Otis and Chad. Maxine is celebrating. We question her. Great. Our story is going to continue. No, we were not supposed to be in that match. When that spot aired, the person in the office who told us we weren't supposed to be on TV stood up and said, who the hell let the models on? It happened again because we were in the Battle Royal for the IC title shot. We do a spot with Dexter Lumis and Johnny Gargano. The same thing happened. Who let the models be in the match again? Once that happened, we stopped traveling. It was over. Then came the process of pitching stuff because we were told we would be repackaged. Obviously, that didn't happen. Recently, Shawn Michaels liked a tweet that was negative and about Stephanie McMahon, which reads, why should he give the company to his daughter? It's his company and he built it. If he wants to cash out, then let him. And Stephanie has hardly proved she can run the company. Just look at how she treated Dusty after he owned her in a promo, or how she keeps claiming credit for Women Revolution. Revealing a department that did not see any layoffs in WWE, it was said in the Wrestling Observer newsletter that there were no cuts on the public relations side. It seems that WWE has released a star prior to her debut on NXT. As Alexis Gray wrote, "I am no longer with WWE. At the end of the day, I put in work every day that I went in that place. I have never wrestled in my whole life, but that did not stop me from showing that I can be one of the world's greatest superstars. Now that I've found this new passion, I won't stop. I'll just take another way." Speaking of WWE releasing NXT stars before their in-ring debut, Daniel MacArthur wrote on X, "As of today, my journey with WWE has officially ended. It was a great journey and got to meet a lot of great people. Truly a blessing, but now on to bigger and better things. Stay tuned for what's next. Thank you to everyone who made my WWE experience amazing." Staying on the topic of NXT stars that were cut from WWE, Kevin Ventura Cortez said, "Thank you WWE for the opportunity of a lifetime. Going to have to take a step away, but I've only just begun. The story is not finished yet because these eyes, they never lie." As expected for WWE releases, they came with a condition set in most contracts with the company for superstars. As Sean Ross Sapp of Fightful said, 90-day non-competes for most of the releases per usual. Revealing a reaction to the recent releases from WWE, Sean Ross Sapp said that one top star told Fightful Select that most of the list of releases barely had a chance considering they weren't booked, and called it a circle that couldn't be escaped. And this was your pro wrestling news update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see y'all later.